I'm talking about why interior designers are important and why working with an interior designer is important. And it's morally reprehensible, in my opinion, that you would build something and you would make it ugly. You wouldn't take the time to think about the beauty. You're doing this creation. And when you're creating, like, why wouldn't you want to make it as beautiful as possible? Now, of course, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but I know that beauty is also, it's an agreement. It's actually an agreement that everybody has what beauty is. And you don't necessarily have to like the style. You don't necessarily have to like the look or the color, but there is beauty in that particular aesthetic. And why wouldn't you do it? Like, so, what happens is a lot of clients start by going and talking to the contractor first. And I've decided it's my responsibility to educate and get homeowners, anybody who wants to do a renovation, to talk to an interior designer first, or at least look at the possibilities of working with an interior designer, because a contractor, and we need contractors. I'm not saying they're bad. What I'm saying is that a contractor job is to just execute, is to build it as per you want. But what do you want? And if you don't know, they can't build it. If you don't know that you want it to look like this and have 6 feet, 8, 10-foot ceilings and doors here and windows there, like, how is the contractor supposed to build it? And it's no different than when you're designing a space and the contractor is there with his trades and his people to create the space, but there's no plan. So it's my job, it's my responsibility to create that plan, create that vision so that the contractor can build. And it's my job. And that's why I was put on earth, was to bring beauty into people's homes. That's why you start with an interior designer, because I guarantee that other interior designers want to make places beautiful too, and that's their purpose. I know for me, that's my purpose as an interior designer, is to make beautiful spaces. We've created these these rooms, these boxes to live in that protect us from the outside elements like rain and snow and cold. But why, when we have this opportunity to make this home, why wouldn't we make it as beautiful as possible? Of course, we want to live in beauty, but that's not the contractor's job. So, this is what I want to talk about today. If you are an interior designer, that's your job, is to make these beautiful spaces for your clients to enjoy, to improve their life, to improve their, what's the word, to improve the value of their real estate, to improve the value of their home, to enjoy their home. And when you work with a contractor, that is part of working with them, is that they actually do, they make it. You've created and they make it. And that is what a great partnership is. If you have the vision, like, don't put a hammer in my hand, because I'm not going to be able to, yes, I'm very handy actually, but I'm not going to be able to create it to the perfection that I want, because I just don't have those skills. But I know what I want. And now I need a partnership, a collaboration with the contractor to create the vision. And it's that partnership that's so important, working with a contractor that can not only execute it, but can understand what you want. And that's your responsibility as an interior designer, is to make it as easy as possible for the contractor to get on board. Something that I had forgotten recently was that I'm so in depth in the design and the vision process, and I've been stewing on it for months. And by the time the contractor comes on board and he's ready to get going, I mean, I already have built it 1,000 times in my mind. I know exactly what it's going to look like and how it should operate and what goes where. But the contractor is playing catch up, and he's got his team that he has to get them, and they're all playing catch up so that they can create this space that you want for your clients, or the clients want for themselves. And I had forgotten that the contractor just is coming on the job now and doesn't even know the vision. And so the more information, the more diagrams, layouts, plans, elevations that can express and tell the contractor exactly what I want will then allow him to get on board with the vision so he can create it. And I'd forgotten that. And I need to constantly remind myself that the other trades and even vendors too, because they could be working on site with me, need to understand the vision so that they can help me with that. And that's your job as an interior designer, is to get your contractors, builders, tradespeople to know what it should look like at the end so that when they're working, they have a vision that they can actually work towards. If they don't know the goal, how can they actually reach it? Got that. Always good to remember. I'm always improving my processes so that as I'm going through each project, because the projects always bring something new. And it's like, oh yeah, we want to make sure this doesn't happen again. We're going to make sure that we have this process in place so that when we are working with our trades, that things don't get missed. And there are so many small little details that it's easy to miss things. It's easy to forget about, I don't know, uh, hardware. I don't know. There's lots of little items, and sometimes I get fixated on countertop. I'm like really fixated on this. And then I forget, oh yeah, well I want, a backsplash, and I've forgotten the backsplash. I'm like, shoot, I've got the paint color. So the more processes I have that allow the contractor to get up to speed, the better it is. This is the role of you as the interior designer, to make sure that your processes are up to speed so that you can bring your partners on so you can create the space that you want. And so you really have to be thinking much further ahead. And then you have to have all your paperwork, all your information so that the contractor can then step in and feel confident in what he's doing. And that's, it's way more exciting because everybody's on the same page. You guys are all like, it's like rowing the boat. You're all going the same place, rowing the same boat, going the same place. You're going to get there a lot faster. So I working on it. I don't know what everybody else does for processes. This is design team. Usually I'm here with Elizabeth. She is not here today, but I'm doing it alone. I just wanted to talk about, I was talking about what is morally reprehensible, which is people building things that are not beautiful. How do you get there? How is it built? And you, me as an interior designer, I need a team to do that. I'm not doing it all. So Elizabeth and I, we talk once, twice a week about our issues as an interior designer, having our own firm and the problems that we have. And so we decided last year that why are we not doing a live? Why are we not doing this and sharing it with other business owners, other interior designers who are in the same place as us? Where often as an interior designer, if you're in a small firm, you don't have an opportunity to share and learn from others. And that's what we were using each other for, and connecting. And it's so great because she's helped me, given me ideas when I'm like, I'm not sure even what to do next, and vice versa. But today I just wanted to talk about that relationship between a contractor and a designer, because we know how important it is. And it's creating that relationship and understanding what your contractor needs in order to execute the vision that you have spent months, hours, hundreds of hours working on for your client. And that vision is only going to be as good as the execution. And the execution is only as good as the builder understands the vision. The contractor understands the vision. So to improve on those relationships, it's following, it's reaching out to the contractors and builders, the people that you work with you rely on, and making sure that those processes are working for them. Because it doesn't always, everybody works slightly differently, they have different methods. And to make it successful, find out what will work for them, what isn't working. If you have done a project with a contractor, maybe it's a project like deep dive at the end once the project's done. What worked, what didn't work, what could be improved, how can we improve the relationship and make sure that we reduce the amount of time that's being spent, as well as not just on the project, but also in the communication. What was missing? These are all great conversations to have. If you can have it with your trades, that's probably a great trade to be working with, because it's not going to go smoothly. There is going to be something, whether it happened because you may have missed something, it happens because client changes their mind and wants something else, it happens because they open up the wall and find out you can't do something, or it's going to cost a lot more to do something that you didn't anticipate, and now you have to revise while you're, on by the seat of your pants to get it done and stay true to your design vision that the client has approved. So I'm always looking for contractors to work with. I'm always looking for builders to work with that are wanting to work with interior designers. I'd love to hear, from, I see I got a couple of construction people on what kind of problems they have with designers, because we we can be a problem. We can be a problem. We realize we can be demanding. That's our job. We can change your mind because that's our job. And we can ask for things that most homeowners aren't going to ask for because they don't know that it's a possibility. They don't even know what the possibilities are or what the options are. They're going by what they have seen, maybe on their friend's home and their family's homes, maybe in a magazine, but there are so many more options. That's part of the reason why I do full service. I've realized that to best service my client and to have them exceptional finished project, I have to be involved right from the beginning. I've tried it so many different ways, coming in the middle, only doing the design, executing, only executing. It doesn't work because there are just too many moving parts. So as a contractor, I'm sure that you have requests and, complaints about interior designers. And I'd like to help build those relationships between designers and contractors, because that is how we create beauty in the world. We have the visionary and we have the technician, and we need both of them. And we need both of them to be on the same page. Anyways, I could talk about this for a while. I'm going to just do a little short design tea today. It is the designer's responsibility to make sure that the contractor is understanding what the final vision is. And it's also on the contractor to ask for the information. Most likely, the contractor you're working with it's not his first rodeo. Does he have a process that, make sure that he gets the information far enough in advance? Far enough in advance that it gives you time to make a decision if you haven't given thought to the decision. It's often been the case where I've missed something and the contractor, "Oh, I need that today." That doesn't happen very often to me anymore. I mean, when I first started out, yes, because I was learning and getting an understanding of the whole process. But I don't like to do that because now I'm stuck to what's readily available. What can I get today so I don't stop the construction? So I'm not the cog in the wheel, that I'm keeping things moving along. Uh, It is a lot easier though when you have a vision and you need a decision. It eliminates so many other choices because only some of them are actually going to work in the vision that you have for the space, which is, part of using an interior designer. You have the knowledge of how to create that vision. And that keeps clients on track. It keeps projects on track because and this is the advantage too for a contractor with working with you. Because if the contractor leaves it to a homeowner who is unfamiliar, or even has done some renovation work, even a kitchen and bath, where there are so many decisions to make, the client is going to get overwhelmed and is going to get stuck. And most likely they haven't created this vision I mean, they may have an idea of what they want the room to look like, but they haven't created a vision, a very detailed vision. And so now they have to make a decision, and it tends to be on top of a million decisions they already made, and they're overwhelmed. And so they can't make a decision because they don't have clarity. As the interior designer, you have the vision. It's so easy mm, to have a decision that's going to fit in that, or create or have an option or two that's going to fit in that vision that you've created with the clients. So as a contractor, that's an advantage when you're working with an interior designer, because you don't have to wait for a homeowner who is unclear. You have the designer that can make a decision and keep moving the project forward, because we know that contractors, they don't get paid to wait. Their objective is to be efficient and to move forward as quickly as possible. Time is money. And we won't, not only is it just waiting on the job, but you know, they're holding back their other trades to get things done. And the homeowner is also sitting on their head to get the project done, because they've probably been displaced, they're out of or they're inconvenienced, and they want the contractor out of there and the job finished. So working with an interior designer can help alleviate those problems. And for the designer, working with a contractor and getting them up to speed with the vision you have helps alleviate that problem for the contractor as well. So it's a two-way street. And I'm always working on it. I'm always working out, like reaching out to contractors and builders, and because you just never know you have to be on your game all the time. Can't not be on the game. When I'm working with clients, I've always brought my game. I can't decide that I'm only going to do a half-assed job today. I have to do a great job. That's my job every day. So we're here every Tuesday. Today it was just me, not Elizabeth. It's just me, Risha, with Walden Interiors, talking about being an interior designer, the design team. And if you like this, share, come back every Tuesday at 4:00. And we're here talking about interior design and the inside of the business. Thanks for joining me. And we'll see you next week, Tuesday at 4:00.